Kim Iverson versus RFK. It's her particular tweet that we're gonna start with.
So I'm so glad to see it.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm glad to see Kim off that train, because that was.
Yeah, that's relieving. That is a relief.
It's really hard for me to watch people I love and care about fall for his bullshit. It's a relief. Yeah. It's a relief.
So, all right. So let's.
I don't know. Didn't he just introduce a policy of HGH for Medicaid and Medicare recipients? Because, you know, I mean, I support that. I support that. I mean, he's pretty ripped.
Steroids for everyone. You get steroids. You get steroids.
All right, so let me blow this up a little bit for the seeing impaired, and that is me. I still got to get some glasses, I guess. All right, so we're calling this segment Kim Iverson calls out Super-Zionist RFK Jr. I'm gonna start calling him that because he seems to be very over the top.
I call him Israel's very best bitch. That's my name.
That's a good name too. That's a good name too. Let me read what Kim says here. She says, she quotes him basically.
That's what Cheryl Hines calls him, actually.
We need Israel because they're like an aircraft carrier in the Middle East, and China is there, end quote, spoken like a true MIC, military industrial complex shield. He literally uses military talking points, and what Kim is referring to is this video here. And I would say it kind of went viral. I saw you guys' coverage on it, and a lot of people in this space have covered it. And of course, we're not going to watch the entire 9 minutes, but I did want to watch a little bit of it, maybe 3 or 4 minutes of it, and kind of listen to him go unhinged. Now, before we get into the video, I'm curious to hear everybody's take on why do you think he's doing this when he clearly knows he's not going to win either through the Democratic Party because they're holding him, squashing his candidacy, or him going through as an independent. So what is
Zionist.
The incentive?
He's a lifelong Zionist. This is just who he is. I don't think it's politically motivated at all. Probably some. I think obviously he wants that donor money, and he wants to, it's a whole thing. He wants to be accepted by the club, right? He's a fucking Kennedy. He's a fucking Kennedy. Okay. But yeah, he's a lifelong Zionist. His whole family. This is just who he is. I don't think people need to look for like ulterior motives. This is just who the guy is. Sorry if that hurts your feelings, but dude supports genocide. Sorry.
The people that support him try to look for some outside reason so they can go. It's because of that, guys. That's the reason. So it's okay that if I still support him, but it's making it harder and harder. And one of which is Kim Iverson, because she didn't unendorse him when he first was supporting Israel. This is like on his 7th week of just being terrible. Now, because this latest attack on the Gaza Strip in Gaza, now she's come out because of his rhetoric and said, yeah, this is too much for me. But let's listen to a little bit of what he said, and I'll let everybody chime in here.
My position, first of all, I would describe myself, I'm anti-war. Everybody's anti-war. But there's wars that are not wars of choice. And those kind of wars are
anti-war, but here's 3 I support. They're all happening.
That's what I was just about to say. This is a new lane. This is a new lane where I'm anti-war, just for not in the current wars that's going on.
Just this one as a treat. Just this one as a treat. Come on, guys. Everybody needs a little war. Just one.
I'm pro-vaccine, except for all the ones that exist.
That's essentially what he's saying here. Let's listen and see the rest of this nonsense.
But there's wars that are not wars of choice. And those kind of wars are like World War II. We were attacked at Pearl Harbor, and we need to respond. The Ukraine war is a war of choice. We shouldn't be in it. And we look for wars of choice. What's happening in Israel is not a war of choice. I support Israel, and I'll tell you why. Israel is our oldest partner for 75 years. It's been our lead partner. It is critical to American national security in the Mideast. It's the only democracy in the Mideast.
Why is it so critical?
Oh my God.
Why is
He's
it
honest.
so critical that we have this ally? And everybody knows that clip of Joe Biden. If Israel didn't exist, we would have to invent one. That's actually what Israel is an
We did invent it. I mean,
We invented it.
Right.
Genius.
Right.
Not a whole
I
cloud.
mean, the
Like, hey,
British did.
Go
The
take
British
that
did.
land.
The
Oh,
British
there's people
did.
living
Well,
there.
the
That's too
West. Yeah,
bad. Get
that's
rid
what
of
he
them.
means.
Like, it's what the fuck? What the fuck? It's like living in
Yeah.
crazy
So
town.
let's get back into a little more of it, and let's see if he triggers us some more.
And it has served a purpose for it. It's like almost like an aircraft carrier in the Mideast for us. And the
So
alliance
gross.
is so close.
So gross.
Is completely surrounded by nations that are not only hostile to Israel, but a lot of them are hostile to the United States. The biggest oil producers in the world, Iran, which is in league with China. And in league, Iran now controls Venezuela. Hezbollah is in Venezuela. The Iranian fleet is in
Oh
Venezuela.
my God.
If Israel disappears, which is the ambition of Iran, the ambition of Hamas, we would lose our beachhead in the Mideast. And
So it's not about the people.
No.
Dude,
Well, we could appreciate his honesty. I mean, RFK Jr. is absolutely psychotic. If we could all agree on that principle, that he's a sociopath, if we could agree on that, after we move past that, you have to thank him for being his honesty, because what he just did is articulate what we always say all the time, and then we're dismissed. That is for geopolitical reasons. That's for military reasons. And he's basically saying, yeah, for these military reasons, I'm cool with genocide. And he's kind of saying it out loud. And that's what we're seeing a little bit more and more. We're pushing point to brutal honesty.
Yeah. God, what a scumbag. What a fucking scumbag. You support, people support this dude? Oh my God. It hurts my brain. It hurts my
Dude,
brain.
they won't stop. I keep thinking, because every time we slam RFK on the show, I keep thinking, come on, man, people have to have moved on. And to be fair, most people have.
Most have.
A lot of people have.
Most
our
have,
space.
but you got some
Yeah.
people who, man, it does not.
I'm not trying to
matter what
pile on him. but
crazy
has-
shit
has
flies
Pasta-
out of his mouth.
It's a Trump
Has
thing. He can go
Pasta
shoot people in
moved
Fifth
on?
Avenue and be fine.
Does
I don't-
anybody know, has Pasta kind of moved
I
on
don't
from
know.
him?
Yes, he
honestly,
has.
Oh yeah,
he
yeah.
has.
To his
That's
credit,
good.
he
That's-
very
that
publicly
is good to
announced
know.
that.
No,
Okay,
Pasta's
that is
the
good
one
to
who
know.
forced me to
Avoiding-
endorse Donald Trump on the Jimmy Dore show. So yeah, Pasta's Pasta's off the RFK
I've been
train.
avoiding that
Pasta
subject with
bullied me into
Pasta.
endorsing Trump. I have to be MAGA now because of Pasta.
Aw.
He bullied
No,
me into it.
I have
That's it.
to.
We got to get the red hats.
He
What'd you say,
cuffed
Misty?
me. He
What'd you say,
cuffed me
Misty?
for Trump.
No, I've just been avoiding this this topic with Pasta. Like when I talk to him, we don't talk about this because it is such a point of contention, and it was so hard for me to watch him fall for this, because it's so frustrating, especially because he's and I should be talking about him when he's not here, but I love him so much. It was so frustrating to watch this, and because he is the election integrity guy, he knew he had no chance of winning anyway. So why on earth would you support this absolute douche canoe who's out here supporting literal genocide?
Look, I think
who's
psychologically.
cleansing?
Sorry, Misty, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
Go ahead.
it's fine. I rant too much, so it's
No, it's okay. I wanted to, because
Therapeutic.
I think psychologically it's easier to compartmentalize someone's position when it's not literally blowing up in your face.
I know, but
And now that it's blowing up in his face.
That's another thing that pissed me off, though. The whole it's just one issue. No, it's fucking
I know.
not. It's fucking not.
I know.
So many things. The surveillance state. Who do you think runs that shit? Israel. It's all the software,
police state.
The police state. Where do you think our cops get trained? By Israel. Like, this impacts so many. It impacts not just Israel, Palestine. It impacts Syria. It impacts Iran. It impacts Lebanon. We're really going to ignore all of those things because it's just one issue?
No,
oh my God.
You're 100% right, but I just got to vouch for Pasta in the sense that he told Norm Finkelstein when he interviewed him, he said, when this war broke out and RFK fired off that tweet, the first tweet that we all know that he sent out, Pasta said, I wasn't even interested in watching his speech anymore, the independent launch. So credit to him. I mean,
I just wish it didn't take that long.
It
shouldn't have taken that long for anybody. The idea that he was so openly and willing to give not just support, unconditional. He said, I will unconditionally support Israel. Unconditional. Are you joking? Unconditional support to an apartheid state that is literally ethnically cleansing Palestinians? Are you fucking serious right now? That wasn't enough for you to walk away? That's what's so mind-blowing to me, that wasn't enough. That's enough.
Well, I mean, I haven't hung out with the guy, so I can't say, but my psychological read on him is on RFK, yeah, not on pasta.
Oh. I don't know
Pasta. He ain't running for president.
Pasta is a classic neurotic narcissist. No,
Pasta is one of the best human beings. Pasta is one of the best human beings on planet Earth, and you cannot convince me otherwise.
Fucking borderline personality, Pasta motherfucker.
No, he is one of the best people on planet Earth. And despite the difference that we have here, I love him unconditionally. I just want to make that clear. Like, unconditional support to Pasta, 100%, 100%.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, he came around. He took longer than he should have, but look, sometimes I take longer than I should. Yeah. It happens to everybody.
No, it's good. It's good. So let's listen to a little more.
Russ was stuck. I didn't mean to cut him off. I didn't mean to steamroll.
Kennedy, look, his family is, they make the Jacksons look healthy. So, he clearly, has had a very traumatic experience as a young man. His father was assassinated. He was there, I think, at the time. And I think it's just this stew of ego. I think he's also unstable. I think he's literally psychologically unstable. And I think that he just has this notion that he's going to live up to that Kennedy legacy, and his ego is too big to see what a poor vehicle that he is for carrying forward that legacy, which is more complicated than we like to admit in and of itself. And he's too crazy to just admit to himself, like, he shouldn't be doing this. He wants to be his father desperately, and he's not in any way, shape, or form.
He reminds me, my father, my uncle, my father, my uncle, my father, my uncle.
Every other word. Every other word is my father, my uncle. Exactly. Yeah. And then the things that come out of his mouth. Ugh. Look, I mean, if you were just a shrewd, calculating politician, you just wouldn't say the things that he says, and he's clearly highly intelligent. So the fact that he keeps saying these things on camera in front of people, the guy, he's fucked up. He's a little fakakta. He's a little fucked in the head.
I co-sign that language.
He admits it himself.
That would be a real.
Has he said that?
I mean, he's a former heroin addict, a former sex addict. He drove his wife to suicide by cheating on her dozens of times and keeping a log of it. I'd say that's probably unhealthy behavior. Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes. He had a little book, a little diary where he had.
Was that the inspiration for the story of O?
What?
All right, let's listen a little more right now. Let's listen.
The only country in that part of the world that's a democracy. It's the only country where there's freedom of press, where there's freedom of worship.
Oh my God.
Palestinians vote in Israel. They hold political office. They serve on the Supreme Court and all the other courts. And that's not true of Jews in the West Bank or Gaza. In fact, or Christians, or in any of the other surrounding nations. It's the only place where there's that kind of freedom. And Israel has unmatched freedom for women. In Saudi Arabia, a woman could go to jail for driving a car. In Israel, there's complete freedom for gays. There's
So I guess the exchange is. But let's take what he's saying for face value. Let's say so. All of those things you named, they're supposed to take in exchange for genocide. Like, is that the exchange here?
You get to vote, but we're gonna kill you.
Yeah,
we're gonna bomb your neighborhood.
The point that he's making, he's saying Israel deserves to be an occupying force because it gives people gay rights. Like that's the reason why we should allow them to be.
Yeah, that is identity politics as sharply defined as I've ever heard it.
Well, weren't we supposed to bring democracy to Iraq? Isn't that always
exactly.
the reasoning?
Right.
Honestly, watching this video, CJ, I feel like Max Blumenthal on Jimmy Dore. I want to stop him every 5 words because he's lying. It is lie after lie after lie. I seriously, every 5 to 7 words, I'm like, liar, and I want to call him out. Like, it's really hard for me to not interrupt him every 2.5 seconds. He is lying through his teeth. Everything he is saying here is absolute bullshit. If you actually look into the situation, he is lying. And that is what people keep saying. Well, why do you care? Because you don't care about electoral politics. What do you give a fuck? I give a fuck because he has a massive platform and he's a raging Zionist. That's why I care.
That's a good reason to care, I would say. I'll play maybe 60 more seconds and then we'll close for the next segment. We got maybe 2 or 3 segments, then close pretty early. We usually go like 3 hours. We're not going to do that tonight. Not by a long
good, because I'm tired. I'm old.
Yeah, not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. Let's go.
On Pride Day, 150,000 gays in Tel Aviv and again in Jerusalem. At the same time, they were throwing gays off the roofs of buildings in Iran and hanging them from cherry. And if you are a Palestinian and you want to criticize your government, you better be in Israel. Because you do it in Gaza, your throat will get slit. If you do it in the West Bank, you will go to jail and be tortured. It is and Israel, Israel right now, what's happening in Gaza, a lot of people don't understand it. Hamas controls Gaza. Hamas has, this is not the first time rockets have been, since 2008, every year. There's 10,000 rockets that are fired from Gaza by Hamas into Israel to kill civilians. And they're fired. Where do they put their rocket bases? They're in schools, mosques, elementary schools where kids attend.
This is literally projection, and we just we just had a segment with Abby Martin when she was on the ground, and she did it in her documentary. This is all projection. This is what the occupying force does to Palestinians. What she's saying there, what he's saying there. But any final thoughts? If you want to say anything else here, now is the time on this RFK before we move to the next one. I simply don't want to hear just constant lying. He's doing like what you said he did on Jimmy. It's just like it's almost like you don't even know where to respond. It's so many layers of just untruths that he's telling that you don't know where to go, and that's his whole sort of thing.
Credit to him, he is good at that.
Right,
he is very good at that.
It's masked as if he's so knowledgeable and he's just talking.
Well, he's a lawyer. Yeah. This is what we said about him from day one. He's a lawyer. This is what lawyers do. Yeah. You know, that's what a lawyer gets paid to do. They get paid to go up there and make a case and sell an argument, whether it's true or not.
Yeah, and he's very good at it. To his credit.
I mean, and you could pick any single. You could pick one of 10 lies. But this whole Israel is a democracy piece, I mean, I don't even know where you start. But I'll add just yesterday, the Israeli communications minister, it was talking about start having a law that would imprison Israeli citizens for harming national morale, that you might say things and you could go to jail. Now, truth be told, there actually is a progressive wing within Israel who are anti-Zionist, but you never hear from them because they are already repressed. They are already scared for their life. Many are put in jail if you talk to certain people, Israelis. And I don't want to eliminate that minority that exists in Israel, that they're scared to speak out, and there are going to be repercussions on many levels. And now those repercussions could be legalized.
Yeah. There's so many lies and all of that like my brain is racing right now with all of the lies that he just told. Like, oh, if you speak up against your government in the West Bank, you'll just get your throat. Do you know what they do to Palestinian children? Do you know in jail? When they send kids to jail, they jail kids on a regular fucking basis. Really? You're going to talk about, I mean, I'm not saying Hamas doesn't do terrible things. Of course they do. Also, Israeli controlled.
Right.
So people keep saying, you need to condemn Hamas. Well, I already have. I've condemned Israel. Same fucking thing. The same picture. It's the same fucking picture.
Right. It's all a giant. This is what people don't understand is that it's all a giant Israeli op. The whole thing is an Israeli op.
Right.
You know,
Yes.
they act as if as if there's some autonomy here, right? And there just isn't.
No.
Well, we were talking offline about the censorship thing. We've been talking a lot about how they're really going to crack down because of this. And then I've been looking at how they're losing control of the narrative already. Like I've been very surprised by how much the headlines are talking about the conditions in Gaza. I really, 10 years ago, you wouldn't have even heard about it.
No.
They
The
wouldn't
tide
have
has
even told you
definitely
about
turned.
it. It's
Yeah.
definitely turned. However, because I do believe this is going to erupt into a wider war, that's when you're going to get the real censorship, because that's going to turn into that speaking out against World War One.
They're already prepping for
conditions
that.
where they're just going to
they have been
down.
I've been screaming about it for fucking years. Yes, this is what they've been building.
Right. Like they could turn around. I mean, we talk about Rumbles, the lifeboat. I mean, they could just shut it down.
And like, not to open up an old can of worms, but who accelerated us in this direction? It's the Biden. Biden, and by Biden, I don't mean Biden. I mean Anthony Blinken, Jake Sullivan, Janet Yellen,
people that we don't. Most
Lloyd
people don't know their
Austin,
names.
and the people behind them who we don't know. That's exactly right.